Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Retrospective Reviews, which we are now going through Nightmare on Elm Street, and we're on part two. Joined once again with me is Paul from Tales from the Flipside. How's it going, Paul?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm kind of excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
It's a wacky one, to say the least, I guess. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It is a relatively controversial movie because of the subtext, which is it's got a gay subtext. We'll just put it right out there. But yeah, what'd you think of the movie, first off, before we even go into plot?
So you're the one. So you had told me that there was a gay undertone to the movie ahead of time. So I tried to forget that the best I could. My wife and I watched Scream Queens afterward, or Scream Queen, anywho, and she was actually really upset because she didn't feel that the undertones were there, and that. But anyway, we'll get into that. But watching it, just the movie itself, all the other stuff aside, I thought it was just a badly written movie. And that I just, it had some good parts, but overall it was just like, how is this the second film?
It's very weird. Like, I mean, to kind of go through the plot, it's basically a possession movie. I mean, would you say that's correct? It's not really the same thing at all as the first one. So essentially there's a new family moves into Nancy's house from the first movie. And the kid, Jesse, the boy, the final boy, as they would say, starts having dreams about Freddy. But this time, Freddy's goal is to possess Jesse to kill people in the real world without having to be in a dream. Is that correct? I mean, is that the plot, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So the movie, as far as the gay subtext is concerned, people, the writer has admitted that essentially in this movie, Freddy is a representation of the homosexuality within Jesse that he is trying to keep from coming out. Now, whether or not that's to be taken as an offensive thing where Freddy represents evil, or that this is just a scary situation for a coming-of-age gay person to be in, I think is kind of up in the air. I would hope it's the latter, I guess. But, I mean, I do, real quick to just mention, I used to like this one a lot when I was a kid, and obviously this is before you're ever going to think of anything like that, right? I do think Freddy's makeup in this one is the best that it is in any of the movies. Wow. I think he looks nasty in this. But the movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's very hard to tell when people are dreaming or when it's the real world, or it kind of kills the idea of the first movie.
Yeah, the dreaming and the dream, are you dreaming or not, is part of the lore that is good, though, in my opinion, because you can kind of pick up on it, but then you're not 100% sure. But yeah, I feel like the director, the writer wanted to do, this is how I felt. I guess maybe I've changed my mind, but at first I thought they wanted to accomplish something, the possession-wise and things, and it was just poorly executed, possibly limited by what was available to movies and cinematography at the time, maybe. Kind of like
I would agree with that.
Some of the Jason movies were like, what is that?
Right. Now, there are some, that being said, there are some really good effects, I feel like, in this. There's one scene in this where it's kind of one of those deals where that if it was done today, it would be CG and it would look like crap. But yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. So yeah, that I think is awesome.
I, I laugh at that scene because of just like I don't know why. Just my reaction is to laugh at it because of like how terrified. Like, can you imagine like this kid, the new kid comes to town. You're kind of buddies with him after you getting a tiff. He comes to your house when you're sleeping under your leather comforter, and and then this creature just erupts from his body after he tries to tell you like, don't go to sleep.
Well, okay, so yeah, that scene is funny too because to set that scene up, he has been freaking out about this about Freddy basically to his girlfriend for days at this point. Like he's kind of going nuts, and she's been really understanding, trying to tell him everything's okay or whatever. And he finally has like the sexual sex scene moment with her. And like his tongue comes out on her tits and everything, and he runs away and goes to his boyfriend's house, and he's like, I just can't be alone. I need to sleep with you tonight. It's just very like he's very much the female character in this. Like if you look at like as far as a female stereotype, right? The like hysterical, like, oh, he's going crazy, he's crying, he screams all the time. But yeah, he goes to his boyfriend's house basically, And by the way, I think that what's his name? Grady, I think is his friend's name. I actually think he's pretty understanding with everything going on with Jesse throughout the movie.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really great scene. I didn't expect to see the eye in his mouth.
Yes.
That was good. The whole thing was very well done.
Yeah, he like I said, I feel like there's like a very strange gem of a movie in here just as far like, okay, first off, you see more of Freddy, I feel like in this one. He's scary. Mm-hmm. He hasn't crossed over into the joking territory that we kind of get to later. Now, one thing you brought up last week is that you wanted a scene where Freddy arrives and he isn't Freddy, right?
Yeah, right.
Did you notice this?
Yeah. The opening scene, he was the bus driver.
Well, yeah, and that was so funny to me because literally when you said that, I was like, "Oh my god, it's the first thing you see in the new movie."
I had no idea. I was like, just throwing it out there.
Now, was it exactly as you would have done it yourself? Probably not. No, right. But yeah, so. Oh God, what else is there to talk about with this? I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit going on. The movie starts, he's like you said, he's the new kid in town. The first scene, we have this scene with him where they're playing baseball and he gets into like a little tussle with his buddy, his new buddy, or I guess they're not friends yet.
Right.
But the gym teacher in this, he has them do, push-ups for the rest of the day. I guess they're allowed to skip every other class that they have as long as they're punished into doing push-ups. But the gym teacher ends up being like he's a gay character who acts inappropriately with Jesse, right?
I mean, what does he do inappropriate with Jesse though? So if you want to skip to that scene, so Jesse has another nightmare, if I remember it right. He just wanders out into town. That cutscene was weird. He walks out of the front of his house and all of a sudden he's in town.
Yeah, he's in like a seedy, like back alley, like city, like area.
And he goes into this bar, which is a unique bar, I guess. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a gay bar. I guess there was a no chick sign, but it looked like just an S&M underground, whips and chains kind of place.
Rather than talk about it.
assume the position.
Yeah, so continue.
You know, I don't know. It's like a Rocky Horror Picture Reject bar. I mean, it just didn't catch me as a gay bar. More like just he's into some weird German dungeon porn or something. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
But listening to the documentary, that actor said that in the script it was written as a transvestite bar.
Yeah, and that the bar was actually like a gay bar that they filmed at.
The real bar in real life
right.
was, and the excuse from the writer was, I went there when it was closed, so I didn't see it full of a bunch of guys, so I didn't know.
Yes,
that was in the documentary. But I mean, to me, that scene and then how the coach dies are probably the two gayest things in the movie. Other than that, I mean, you really have to read into it. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, when they get in the fight and his pants get pulled down, you get like a quick moon. I mean, I think what it is, and it's hard because it's 2020 and this was, 1985.
Yep.
It's a totally different time, totally different context. And I think what they were trying to do different, I don't know the other movies of this era, but there wasn't male nudity wasn't a thing. Like, it was just, I think they were trying to break some ground here and it turned out wrong.
Well, the writer has admitted that the gay subtext is there. And apparently Paul must have taken his pants off.
No, I'm still here. We got child abduction by the wife for bedtime.
Oh boy. No, but yeah, no, they've got, that scene. Now the bar itself isn't inappropriate for the bar. I mean, if the gym teacher wants to freak with those kind of establishments, whatever. Now, to run into one of your students there and drag him back to the school at 1 a.m. and make him run laps, that's a little odd. And he tells him to hit the showers. It's just real. And then, yeah, the way that guy goes out brings up another interesting bit of trivia in the movie. So basically, he goes back to the school with that gym teacher. And the gym teacher makes him run laps, and then all of a sudden all the balls come to life and start flying at the gym teacher. The gym teacher gets dragged into the shower, and he basically gets tied up naked in the bathroom and whipped with a towel. I don't know who's dreaming here, by the way.
The way they play it out, nobody's dreaming.
Correct.
Because it's a possession movie, you're just assuming that this is happening.
So are we assuming Jesse is whipping him with the towel? Or are we assuming that it's just happening?
No, I think it's Freddy.
So all of the rules have been thrown out, correct? I mean, okay. Now, there is one interesting part in this scene, though. So there was the original actor who's going to play Freddy in part 2 was not Robert Englund. They were going to replace him. And the first scene they filmed with him was this one right here.
You're gonna get flagged for that booty.
Well, I found it on YouTube, so I mean, but no, that first part of that scene is the guy is Freddy, and he just walks like he's like a zombie, so the story is that Robert Englund wanted more money, and basically they filmed that scene and they caved because the moment they filmed that, they knew, this isn't going to work. So, and it works kind of in the context of the movie because Jesse is Freddy, right? Like Jesse killed the gym teacher.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a Fight Club before it was Fight Club. But,
sure. Yeah.
with a little extra sprinkled on there, because I mean, I get it. You know, it's S&M, how this whole scene could have been. They could have done it a little bit different, and it maybe wouldn't have had as much of an undertone to it. You know, like if Freddy was in that the joking phase or whatever, he could have in his Freddy voice been like, you know, they could have thrown in a funny joke of, why don't you assume the position, and like maybe not slapped his ass with a towel or something and then killed him, or I don't know.
Right.
But I feel like that's how it is. It's like a Fight Club possession, weird. You know, who know what did the gym teacher see? Did the gym teacher see Freddy, or did he see?
That's where I don't. Well, that's just it. I think the movie's broken fundamentally because I don't think any of it makes any sense. Because if this isn't a dream and Jesse killed the gym teacher, why is there blood coming out of the showers unless it just looks cool? Right.
Well, I think it's like the balls flying all over, and Freddy. I'm sorry, the gym teacher getting dragged as Freddy. You know, Freddy has the powers, and you know,
right. But what does he need? What does he need Jesse for then?
The body. You're the body.
Oh. Speaking of, by the way.
Jesse. We got special work to do here, you and me. You've got the body. I've got the brain.
All right. Can we not? That is a pretty fucking awesome part of the movie. Like, I just think that's badass. Now, that's one that they bring up in the documentary. And by the way, Scream Queen is the name of the documentary. If anybody wants to check that out, it's essentially a documentary about how this guy's life was affected by being in this movie.
Yeah, ruined.
Yes.
for the first half of his life.
Yes. So yeah, essentially, the movie does go into that scene in particular, and they kind of they acknowledge that you know, Freddy's kind of like caressing his mouth, and apparently Robert Englund asked him if he would let him put one of the blades in his mouth in that scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting, but yeah, I really like that scene a lot, and we've got a couple people in the chat. First off, thank you, Solo Wookie, and we will be doing 3 next week, and a lot of people agree with you. And Titus from over the pond, from
Japan. He's in Japan.
Yeah, what time is it in Japan right now?
Alexa,
whatever it is.
What time is it in Japan right now?
In Japan, it's 11:28 a.m.
There you go.
There you
enjoy
go.
your lunch, Ken. Ken, I emailed you twice. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get it. It's a separate deal we got going on. But I did want to say about that scene that Robert Englund in the documentary didn't, you know, he didn't take it as a gay thingy, like he's moving his hair aside and whatever. He viewed it as like a Beauty and the Beast thing. Like Robert Englund, I mean, look at Freddy. And he's like, you have the body. I'm going to get your body. Like, this is freaking amazing. Your skin is, you know, you're 18 or however old the character is supposed to be, and or 16, 17. And I don't know, maybe I'm just good at taking things for what they are in front of me versus undertones and all that. But
I mean, he admits, Robert Englund admits in the documentary that he knew where they were kind of going with this, that they were treading in this water of this homosexual subtext of the movie. He seems to understand the effect that it would have had on Mark Patton more than anybody. And I guess the context is important too, to bring up that this was like Mark Patton was not out.
Right.
And it was during the AIDS epidemic, basically, when essentially there was almost like oh God, what was it called when you were on the like a McCarthyism type thing or whatever, where you were on a list if you were gay and nobody wanted to work with you because they were afraid, you know, and it's horrible, obviously. But basically this guy ended up being essentially blacklisted in Hollywood, or maybe he felt that way and it made him nervous, so he kind of just left, right?
Yeah, my understanding of it was at the time, they were blood. They make you, when you sign the contract, you had to give a blood test, and that was kind of like their screening for actors. But also, after if I remember from the documentary correctly, his agent saw the movie and said, saw the scream because it was a little high pitched, and basically said, we're gonna have to typecast you because you can't play straight.
Right.
And it just broke him because he had some relationship stuff. His partner at the time, I think, was also had AIDS. He found out during filming, and it was just this perfect storm, and he just lost it. Understandably so, sadly.
And I don't even agree with that agent either. If he didn't scream like there's no reason to me that Mark Patton couldn't play straight.
Yeah,
I don't think.
And who's to say that kids at that age wouldn't scream at that pitch? I mean,
especially when Freddy Krueger is on your ass, ripping the skin off the top of his head. Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, I think it's just it was a different time, and it's just sad. The movie itself, I think, was just bad for what it was, script wise and writing. It just morphed into this like social commentary thing, and it just turned into something else more than a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, in my opinion.
And I like the fact that he has embraced that now, and used it as like a positive thing for his community, right? I do like the guy. In the documentary, he has one part that really like stood out to me. Was he's talking about how like there's people that meet him where like he's their Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Like they literally, this movie changed their life from seeing it. It's like an emotional experience for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they meet him and he's like, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I understand that like these people like hold me up on a pedestal and this is the only time they're going to be able to meet me. So, be nice to them to make that experience for them. And I don't know if anybody's ever met celebrities out there when they're kind of a prick. It does. I mean, it bothers you, right? Like,
and word spreads fast.
Yes, exactly. So I like that. Now, couple other things I like. Sorry, it's the COVID. It's the COVID. There is one of the most iconic scenes I feel like ever. Also makes no context in the Nightmare on Elm Street world, but this is the scene I'm talking about.
Hey! Just calm down, right? Relax. Yeah. It's gonna be all right. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Just tell us what you want, all right? Yeah, I'm here to help you.
Help yourself, fucker! You are all my children now.
What the hell are you doing?
So I've always just thought that was another one that's like pretty badass. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense though, because again, it's like the whole point of the first one, what made it unique was that whole dream angle. And if he's able to just, come out and do that, then, it kind of defeats the purpose. But I love the whole "you are all my children now" thing. Again, I don't know what sense it makes. It looks badass.
I think, it's the "you are all my children" thing is kind of like a murderer thing of, teachers say, "These are my kids," and things like that. I think it goes along that line of Freddy as a murderer saying, "These are my the kids I murdered these are my kids," is how I view that. I love his exit. I think the fire through the fence is awesome.
Yeah. I like when he looks at the girl too, and he's got like that Jesse's in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's why she didn't want her dad to shoot him.
Right. I like that too. There's quite a few things I like. Before we kind of end this, his laugh. I love his laugh, and there's not much of it here, but is that the dad from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, by the way?
I was going to say that actor is familiar. Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
I think it is him. Yeah. So I guess what else regarding this movie is worth discussing? I mean, I know you brought up the ending's a little odd, right? I mean,
the dogs too. I mean, I remember before we even started the series, like, wait till you see the dogs. It's like, what is that?
Again, and they exist in the real world. Like, I don't think anyone's dreaming. Again,
no, it's. Pardon me.
It's a broken movie.
I think it is. I like the concept of. I think I like the concept. I think it's too early in the series to try and run it as a possession of him no longer being in the dream world. Like, you have to have some storyline that would be able to bring him back for a possession thing, to jump inside somebody. And I mean, the end when he's like, Jesse's in the husk of Freddy. Is that the possession thing you want to take, where like once he comes out of you or whatever, you're still in there, but you're just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I like the concept. I think it was just poorly executed, too early in the series to try and carry it out, and then the whole undertone thing. I don't know.
It feels like, okay, we need a sequel. Like, let's write a sequel. Yeah.
Well, he said it in the documentary. I think he said they were filming in June and they were out by Christmas or something, or July, and which is really quick in Hollywood.
Yeah, I would guess that a script was written in probably like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they fast tracked it. Now, I mean, it wouldn't be an episode about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 unless we showed this next clip, which is the legendary. Oh, well, I'll just play it.
How do you like that, Dad?
Now, did you do that last night when you put your jammies on and you had to close the
I was
drawer?
going to do it right now. No.
You got it? Hey, dude, if you did it, it would be
a little.
I mean,
I ordered one of those little popper things from Amazon. It's coming tomorrow though, so
What are those?
Otherwise,
Is that a real thing that still exists? What's its purpose? Is it just a toy?
I think it's a toy, like the rubber ball on the tennis racket thing, just a noise popper thing. But even that, I didn't see anything gay in that. I guess I'm just oblivious. Hopefully no one ever tries to hit on me, because it'll be sorely disappointed.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, you're a good-looking guy. I'm sure somebody will.
Right.
No, it's. I mean, he has a sign on his door that says "No chicks." It says "No something chicks," but it does say "No chicks."
Oh, I thought that was from the bar. I thought the bar had a no chicks.
No, it's on his bedroom door. And then
maybe it's for his sister.
And then he's got his closet has a board game or a puzzle named Probe in it. Now, whether or not, that's just a coincidence. Sure. I mean, whatever. And again, obviously, like I think it's great if that's what the subtext of the movie is. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean,
the long story of it is the documentary confirmed that yes, this is what the writer and director were trying to do, is add a subtext of
not the director. He didn't really know. Like, nobody else knew.
All right. So you're right. Then I'm wrong. So just the writer was trying to do this, and he flip-flopped back and forth, and it ruined Jesse's acting career, because I think at one point he said in an interview that it was Jesse's fault that he turned it gay, because he's actually a gay actor. And that's where the actor literally went to Mexico and like went totally off the grid,
right,
from public eye.
Yeah, they had to find him when they did Never Sleep Again. It was a documentary about the whole series, and when they were doing part 2, they had to find him, obviously. And basically he said, I will do this if you can get me sit down with Michael Chaskin, I believe the guy's name is. And that is the crux of the documentary, right? It's that he's had this essential 30-year grudge over this guy who wrote this movie and then denied that there was gay subtext in it.
Right.
And basically said, no, the actor's just so gay that it came out that way, which is not the case. Now, a lot of people kind of talk to Mark Patton and say, hey, dude, it's time to let this go. And he really can't let it go. Now, what do you think of that? Do you think he's making a big deal out of it, or do you think he's righteously upset? Like, I
thought the writer was kind of a dick to him in that scene. I mean, it's all in how it's filmed, but he was kind of blowing it off, like, your concerns are not, have no basis and blah blah blah. Basically, just let it go, shut up and go home. And he stuck to his guns. I mean, Mark Patton, I'll give it to him on that one. Even when he met with the writer,
the
writer tried to skeet around it a little bit at first, and then he got his closure. It's really sad that it took so long, but I really, I give him all the props I can for turning his torture into a purpose for what he's doing for the gay community now. And he even said, even you type in Mark Patton gay now on the internet, it comes up in a positive light, where it used to just be everybody's calling me a faggot, and it just, he couldn't.
Isn't that fucking gross? Like, the idea internet trolls are just the worst. And the idea that that's how people get their rocks off, is to be mean as fuck to somebody like that, is
and honestly, it was just, the writing was bad. I mean, he even said in the documentary, like, no one told me not to scream like that. No one said it was bad. I'm an actor. I'm doing what I'm told. Tell me to do it differently. If hey, scream a little lower. I don't, but
which would have been the scream is good. I think, like, it's a solid scream. I actually think he's pretty good in the movie. Like, I don't think he's a bad actor whatsoever in the movie as far as selling that role. I like the performance of him. I like the performance of the dad. I think the dad is good as kind of the conservative asshole, like stuck up father.
So speaking of the dad, he knows that there was a murder in the house beforehand, and he's like, well, how, when it comes out, he's like, well, how do you think we got this house? There's such a great deal, honey. And then the birds, the whole bird scene was odd.
It was a cherry bomb. You used a goddamn cherry bomb. Like
it's 99 degrees in the living room. Jeez.
Right. But yeah, that is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, part 2 of our series here. What's your grade on this? Do you have a grade for it?
And it's so mixed with the, with the documentary rolled in. I do think it was a bad movie. There's so much rolled into it with the social commentary and what it did behind the scenes. If I just block it all off as a movie itself, as a Freddy movie, I think it's bad. It's like a C minus. I mean, the effects and things got it going, has the effects and things going for it, but yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. No, it's not good, unfortunately. Now, our kill count, Freddy, so far, we've got 4 in the first movie. This one, if you count the party guests, I'm not going to scroll down farther to find out if I'm right or not, but I want to say this might be his highest kill count in the series. So he is not as prevalent or proficient of a killer, I don't think, as our last bad guy was.
Right. No,
this one has 11. And that's counting the ending, which this one again has a stinger ending where essentially this time they get on the bus again and Freddy takes them out into like the desert laughing or something. Kind of ruins the movie again. Doesn't make much sense. I don't know who's dreaming, who's not, whatever. But yeah, that is the movie. And Paul, we'll be back next week for part 3. Now, my opinion is, Paul, that you should be really excited for part 3.
I don't know what to think. Total blank slate. Don't tell me anything, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, I think you're going to highly enjoy part 3. Part 3 is fucking great.
The only thing I know is you said they quickly forget number 2 existed.
Yes. Number 2 is we can just file part 2 away into this weird corner of the room. And yeah, so did the writers and directors of all of the subsequent movies. So again, Paul, tell everybody where they can find you. I know I didn't even start with that, so not again. Let's do it.
No, you're fine. You guys can find me on the Tales from the Flipside YouTube channel. Monday nights is the main show the only show where I can be on. But I try to be there as often as I can. And then also with Jackson and Michael, we do a movie review podcast every weekend. And what's coming up next weekend?
So I think the plan is Halloween night on my channel. So right here, we will be watching Event Horizon.
Saturday?
On Saturday, I think. I don't know. Well, we're not going to be watching it on the show. But,
right.
But I think the plan was to record on Halloween, but I'm not sure if that's going to fall through or not. So
follow Bored and Annoyed.
Yes.
Follow Downright Nerdy Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to both channels, and you'll get a ding when we go live. And follow. Check us out on Instagram as well. We throw out stories and try and keep the audience informed of when we're going to entertain you next.
Perfect. And I'm Jackson with Just Annoyed, and you can stay right here on the Bored and Annoyed channel. Check out all the archive stuff here. The first episode of this series, as well as all the Jason reviews, are still up. So thank you for taking a listen. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the video, assuming I can't get that removed somehow. But yeah, thanks, and join us next week, hopefully Wednesday night. I don't know. It depends on schedules for Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.